What's going on, guys? It's the RPO College Football Podcast, your favorite college football podcast. I'm Jerron Jones. Thank you. I'm here with the man, the Mr. Legend. You already know who he is, Mr. Go to Notre Dame games and starting to win all of a sudden, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
Good, man. Good, man. How was that game, bro?
The first half was great. The second half had me on the edge of my seat. So,
Hey, man.
I will get into that. But I was talking to some people that were sitting around me. Of course, some of them were Notre Dame fans, some of them were not, which is fine. But I really like Marcus Freeman. I think he's an excellent recruiter. And I think he's going to be a good coach. But, man, that second half of that game, that may have been the worst half of coaching that I've ever seen.
I didn't see the game, so I can't tell you much, but I go by
35-13 and a half, 35-32 final.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jeez, what happened?
They just stopped playing football.
Yeah.
It was like it was over at halftime. So let's just go out there and they had field position for 4 separate drives, Notre Dame, I'm talking about, outside of their own 40-yard line and scored no points out of any of them.
That's harsh, man. That's harsh. Well, we're going to get right into this, man. We're going to talk a little bit about that game in a second. But, guys, first and foremost, thank everybody that's in here live. We are a live podcast. So if you're watching here live, you can put in your comments in the comment section, and we will put it on the screen. We will try to answer anything that you don't like, put it in there. That's fine too. You know, we like to have that conversation. So let's get to it. But let's get right into the rankings, man. Let's get right into the college football rankings because it did nothing really. I mean, nothing surprising, no big moves. I mean, everybody did the assignment, you know, and did what they're supposed to do. Most of the teams in the top 10 moved up a little bit. We do have a new top 10 team, so I'll read off the teams real quick. So as we all expected, Georgia's still number 1, Ohio State still number 2, Michigan still number 3, TCU still number 4. We got Tennessee at 5. Now the little difference here is now LSU's at number 6. We got USC at number 7. Number 8 is Alabama. Number 9 is Clemson, and number 10 is Utah. Obviously, Oregon's the team that's the left out team now, losing last week. They got another big task, and we're going to be talking about that too. But real quick, Ray, how you feel about the rankings?
They're fine. I mean, I don't really have any problem with where anybody's ranked this week. I think everything's fine, solid.
I agree. I think this is the one that I finally agreed on. I'm okay with TCU being there right now. They better watch their back because Tennessee is right on the heels, and you know the committee wants to pin in that extra SEC team, so they got to be careful. And they got a big one this week, also. So we'll see how that goes. Game, but I mean, for the most part, there's nothing I can say that is bad this week with the rankings. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on that. So let's get to the next topic, which is going to be which teams will make the conference championships. So obviously we got the SEC and Big Ten, but all these teams can't make it in, man. So what teams you think is going to make it in, right? And I'm gonna go right here so I can see the team. So let's start with the most obvious one. SEC, who's going to make that championship, right?
Well, of course, Georgia. And I guess I would have to go Tennessee right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you know as well as I do, if they can find a way to get Alabama in there, they will. So
yeah, I agree. Wait, can 2 East teams go in the playoffs? Because Tennessee is in the East, so Tennessee can get in.
Oh, they can get in there.
So if you want me to read it off to you, Ray, it's going to be either Alabama or LSU, basically.
It's going to be Alabama then.
Yeah. That's the part that thinks about this because they got each team in each division of the conference, so you get one team from each side. So yeah, I agree with you though. I think actually no, I think it's gonna be LSU. They're gonna try to get Alabama in there, but LSU's the team that beat Alabama. I mean, yeah, Alabama. I think LSU just lost, if I'm not mistaken. I'm so lost on my days, man. Everything's like a blur, but yeah, I think
Well, OSU beat Arkansas 13-10.
LSU beat Arkansas.
They did.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think LSU's the team right now. As at least right now, I think we looked at the schedule for LSU, and I'm gonna do that now. And I think LSU's schedule is not that bad. Let's see. So LSU have obviously all teams got 2 games left. Oh, sorry, 3. Um, so they got UAB, Texas A&M, and then they do have Georgia. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I think that Georgia game is the championship game. So they haven't slated right now as a Georgia the championship game.
Yeah. I would hate to see LSU make it in there though.
Yeah, but I think that would be the team. I mean, you can't unless LSU like completely like blow it at the end, because Alabama has Andrew Pete and Auburn. They definitely can beat both those teams. Alabama also didn't look that good against Ole Miss, and we'll definitely talk about that in a second. But yeah, I think that it's gonna have to be LSU unless something catastrophic happens. So yeah, let's go to the next one, and let's go to the Big 12. Who we got in that one? Now, this is the conference that don't matter because they don't have a divisions.
Big 12.
If you want me to start, I'll start. It's gonna be Oregon and UCF. I'm sorry, USC. Sorry, USC Trojans. I think it's gonna be them two right now, but you could have the Utah, who's in the top 10 now. They can sneak up on them, and let's look at these two schedules real quick. So USC has UCLA and Notre Dame. Ooh, they got harder.
They do.
Say again?
They do, but if they beat Notre Dame, who's back in the top 20 now, they that may catapult them to that spot.
100%. Then you got you got Utah, who's playing Oregon this week. I forgot about that. So Utah and Oregon playing this week, so that's going to be a big one. Whoever's coming out of that should make the championship. And then you got they play on Colorado. And then as for Oregon, they play Utah, obviously, and then their last game is against Oregon State.
So they win both of their games, though. I could see them making it too, though, to be honest with you. I can see that. If they win both of those games, they're good wins for them.
Definitely. 10 more games to before we take back the big one. Right. Okay. Anyway, we still have it, man. Would you hate it if LSU isn't that good and or because of Brian Kelly?
A little bit of both. I've seen Brian Kelly coach in big games. He chokes.
Give up on Utah, Jerome. Yo, chill. Thanks, Chris, for being on. Nah, we're gonna talk about Utah later. Unfortunately, we're gonna talk about them later. But yeah, I do think it's those are the 3 teams, and obviously, if Utah lose Oregon, they're done. They're not getting the championship, and right. I think even if Oregon loses, they still can't get in. No, that'd be 2 losses actually.
They won't get in.
Yeah. Oh wow. So. Yeah, so this Oregon and Utah game is big. It's huge, actually.
It is a huge game.
Yeah, and then whoever wins out there is going to be playing who I say, USC.
USC, yeah.
Yeah. It was really good in the beginning of the year, and it kind of like tailed off a little bit. So
it's been a really I mean, I don't like. I love college football, which we know, and I don't think there's. It's really hard to say that it's been a bad. Well, I don't want to say it's been a bad year, down year for college football, but consistency wise, it has been a bad year for college football.
Yeah, it's just been a weird year, and usually you have, those top teams that would be no loss at this point, and now they're having multiple losses, and they're not playing a lot. And now we got like lesser teams. I mean, you still got the Ohio States in there. You still got Georgia in there, but everything else is kind of like different a little bit. So
yeah, I mean they're probably the best two teams right now, along with Michigan. I think they're the best teams in there. Well, I'm trying to keep it real, man. So they're the three teams I would say that definitely belong up there. So the other one's going to be a little bit. The problem is the other team is going to be a committee run.
Yeah.
So whoever a committee feels like deserves it, and you never know what they're thinking because they always want to bump up the SEC teams. So
a lot more upsets than previous years. Personally, I've enjoyed it. I love when it's not the same teams also. So I do agree with you, Chris. It's just weird how
I do, but I agree with that part of it. But I also agree with like the NFL, and I don't want to get too much into the NFL. Like I debate this with people all the time, especially my son. Like, do I want parity or do I want great teams? I prefer great teams. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the days of Dallas and San Francisco and Pittsburgh and when I was a kid, Oakland. Like people don't like that, but I like great teams. Those were great teams. Yeah. Michigan, Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, USC used to be great teams. Now they're like mediocre, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't like mediocrity. You can call it.
I do like a level playing field. I do like that in a sense, but also it's just like
level playing field is good for space launches, dude, but it's not good for football. Okay.
I agree. All right, let's get to our next one. We're gonna talk about the Big Ten real quick. Obviously, we got Michigan and Ohio State in the same division. In the West, that West is looking terrible. It's probably gonna be either.
No, that's parity, man. That's good.
Illinois to the Eagles. I'm sorry, the Eagles. Wow. Michigan plays this week. We got. It's probably gonna be Purdue in there. What's Purdue's record? I think Purdue have I think Illinois is the only one that can probably make it on that side. So
that's what I mean, though. The best two teams in the Big Ten are Michigan and Ohio State, and because one of them guys are going to knock the other one out, it's not. I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't. I
do agree with that. It should just be the best two teams within that conference.
Correct. Who cares about what division they're in? That just again creates more parity, which is more mediocrity, which I don't like mediocrity.
No,
I'd rather watch two great teams or two of the better teams in the conference play for the championship. Just
because
breaking it down into divisions.
If everything goes the way it is, it should go, and it comes down to the Michigan or Ohio State game, and Michigan wins this weekend. And Purdue actually wins this weekend. They play Northwestern. It will literally come down to Purdue and Illinois.
I'll be honest with you. Now, here's my question, and I know what I would do. Say the Michigan-Ohio State game is a good game. And then Michigan, say whoever wins, say Ohio State wins, whatever. Do you think that they would still find a way to put Michigan and Ohio State in the playoffs? Because that's what they should do.
I feel like you should do that. I agree.
That's what they should do.
I feel like you should.
They've been two of the better teams in college football.
But
punish them because they're in the same division.
Exactly. But the issue is exactly what you're saying. They're probably gonna punish one of them for not being.
If you put Illinois,
I think we said this before. Is if Ohio State lose to the Michigan, I still think they're gonna bring Ohio State in no matter what. Still, but I think if it's the opposite, if Ohio State beat Michigan, I don't think they're gonna bring Pitt Michigan in.
I don't know why you wouldn't though. I mean, they have everything. Michigan has the coach, they have the brand, they have the tradition. They've been one of the best teams in college football this year. So if you don't let that, if you keep them in the playoffs because they lose to Ohio State, I mean, what is the point of having the playoffs then?
Yeah. When the Pac teams join the Pac-12, Big Ten, hopefully it give a bump in the West. Yeah, I agree with that. I will say that they're like, and I think Chris is saying it right here. I can agree with that, but they'll probably put Tennessee in the spot. Exactly. See, they'll put Tennessee in the spot.
Agreed.
If TCU gets out, they're probably going to try to put in Alabama, like we all saying that they're most likely trying to do, or LSU. It's going to happen like that. So I agree with this, right?
Does anybody think that LSU is better than Michigan? Because I don't.
If Ohio State loses to Michigan, this would be something new for me. We just beat y'all last year.
Last year. What are we talking about?
Come on, Remy.
We pretty much thumped you guys last year. What are we talking?
We used to losing to them every decade. Shut up, Remy. Whatever, dude. Oh man, I'm not gonna even comment on that.
But here's the thing, though, about that. He's right in a way. He is right. But in my day, Ohio State was an afterthought, and Michigan was the team. So
it's been the last 10 years that at least maybe 10, 15 years that Ohio State had Michigan's number.
They will try as hard as they can. I agree with you, Chris, but I think that they would try as hard as they could to keep TCU out, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And TCU plays who this week again? And we also got to remember about games too. So although TCU can win out, they'll be playing somebody tough again this week. I mean, so they got Baylor and Iowa State, and I think they would play. So let's jump over to that one real quick, the Big 12, since we're over here. So we got TCU, obviously, they're the undefeated team. They got Texas, who they actually beat already, but they'll be in contention. I think Texas have 2 losses, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. 4 losses. Oh, wow. Dang. Wow, that's a lot more than I thought. So it'll be TCU. This division is actually a lot more closer than most people think, with TCU being the big team. Right now, it's Oklahoma State, who has 7 wins. I think Oklahoma's 5-5, so they won't make it. Then Baylor, who TCU plays this week.
This is exactly what I mean, though, man. We're talking about putting teams with 2 losses, even 3 losses in a playoff. Is that good?
Yeah,
I don't think it's good. I think it's bad. But that again, I'm an older guy. I like great football teams. I don't like.
No, I hear you. No, right. I completely agree with you.
I don't like it. So again, I know people like younger people like parity. They like the fact that anybody can win it and blah blah blah. That's great. It's good. Mm-hmm. It's great. But 10 years from now, I'll be like, man, what a horrible year that was.
Yeah. So if TCU win these next 2 weeks, they have either Texas, Kansas State, or Oklahoma State. They're the 3 teams that they would most likely play in the championship. So interesting on that.
If they beat Oklahoma State, I think that would be a good win. But I mean, I think it
would have to be. I think it would have to be TCU, Oklahoma State. I think because State, Oklahoma, and West Virginia, next 2 games.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm getting. I love the idea of the playoffs. I do. I just need them to expand it a little bit.
They need to expand this thing so bad, man.
They do, and this year will prove they need to expand it a little bit farther.
Yeah. LSU has that Bama win on their I know scorecard. I know LSU do. They're gonna try their best to get Alabama in. They want to. Solo thing today about 12 game playoffs. That's nonsense. So we're just gonna let everybody in. Why waste?
I don't want 12 teams.
Keep it at 8
or 8 teams.
I'm okay with 8. I am definitely okay with 8.
I want 6 or 8 teams.
I will be actually okay with 6. 8 will be
12
good.
is too many.
Anything 12 is way too many.
12 is too many. 8 me is okay. 8 may be a little bit too many too. I would like 6.
Yeah, Chris asked the same thing. Do you think going to 12 makes the selection process better? I think it makes it easier to pick teams in, and it will be kind of like the basketball tournament where you got more teams. It's just easier to pick more people in, but it would definitely dilute the playoffs because then you get like upsets because it's football. You're gonna get an upset. I mean, look what happened on Monday. I did that for you, Chris. But you're gonna get upset. It's just gonna happen. It's part of football, and it's not like a three out of 3 game or best out of 7 game. It's 1 out of 1, and a team not having a good night can lose. So with that being said, with 12 teams, it's just too much. It's just like Remy saying, too much. It's a waste of time. It's just too much. Yeah. Ideal for me is 8 for power of the Power 5 and 3 teams after that. No, I agree. Winners of the Power 5. I agree with that. That's really good, Chris. Really good. Or we could just keep it at the numbers. Like, hey, whoever's ranked the top 8 ranked teams, you could pick them all in. So I actually think that would be even fairer. Because even with like a situation with the Big Ten with the Michigan not getting in, if Michigan don't get in, even though this year I think this year they would, but they wouldn't get a championship game. There'll be 1 game loss, and then they probably might want to pay other more SEC teams than that. So I would probably just say the best 8 ranked teams I'll put in instead of that system you're talking about. But I don't think that's a bad idea either. What do you think, Ray?
I think 8 is almost too many for me too, to be honest with you. I think it's too many. I think I like 6.
You like 6?
Yeah.
I like 8.
8, then you're going to have 2 teams in there that are just going to get blown off the field. I mean, like, I just don't. Again, I like great teams, at least very good teams. I don't think you reward teams for being mediocre. But again, this is a new world that I live in, and I'm just not used to it yet. That's all.
That's true. Yeah.
I just don't understand, like if they get 8, it's going to be like 6 SEC teams every year.
Yeah.
So what is the point of that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Don't put in so many. Like we can do. I don't know. Remy says I could see 6. Honestly, outside of those, nobody really have a shot to win anyway.
I agree. I think 6 is a good number. I do.
Yeah. 6 is. I don't know. I feel like 8 is exciting. I don't know. Too much.
It's exciting if you're a TCU fan.
Yeah.
I think if do you really think that TCU is going to compete against the teams that are like against a Michigan, Ohio State, or even Alabama who's having a down year? And a down Alabama team would destroy TCU.
Yeah. If it was 8, it would be Georgia,
Ohio State, TCU winner of the ACC and Big 12, and then it would be Michigan, Tennessee, either LSU or Alabama. That's a solid field. I wouldn't call it a good field. I call it a solid field.
I mean, especially for this year, I would like that. That's why I was saying
TCU is going to get blown away if they play one of them teams. So what is the point of that?
I agree.
That's why I think Remy.
But that's one out of the 8, right? But that's 1 out of the 8.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just think that's why I would.
8 game playoffs would help the committee not try to cheat to get Bama in. That's what I think.
I just think that the to me, after the SEC, I mean, I'm not going to debate, the SEC is a better conference. It is, but I think Big Ten now is a little closer than it's been in a long time. So I think if you have, say, you get 3 or 4 SEC teams, and then you have like 2 Big Ten teams, maybe 3 if Penn State's having one of them years that year, and then throw in like one of the Big Ten, the Pac-12 teams in there. Mm-hmm. The problem is that like now that USC is leaving, that makes the Pac-12 really weak. That's why I don't like the idea of them leaving.
Yeah.
To me, USC is a traditional team. They're up there with Michigan, Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State. They're right there with them traditionally wise. So, again, we're going to have teams in there that really are just wasting my time. TCU is wasting my time. I'm sorry. I understand TCU fans would be very upset. Okay, who cares? They're just not. They're not going to compete. LSU is the one team maybe they compete with because Brian Kelly's a joker. Okay, but like Alabama, even like if LSU were like 2-3 years ago, yeah, before Brian Kelly became their coach, of course Georgia. And then Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State when they're having a primo year, them teams are going to destroy TCU. So what are we talking about?
No, I agree. And to get to our next topic, talking about TCU, let's get to our week 11. The rest of week 11. Let me get to the comments real quick. So TCU is 2005 USC.
Exactly. And what happens to UCF when they get in the playoffs? They get destroyed.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, I definitely agree. But I'd rather have one bad team than but bring in one extra good team than leave out one extra good team to have them out, because then you get that like debate, should this team be in? You know what I'm saying? So that's why
here's the thing. If you expand it to 8 teams, that's fine. Yeah. But now you're talking about playing extra games. But you're talking about an extra game of college football where you had more of a chance of guys getting hurt, guys getting worn down, guys not playing maximum football.
But right, you got to also remember the playoffs is so far off of like the rest of the games that were getting played during bowl season, because all those games are like late December, early January or mid-January.
Yeah, but you're talking about expanding it to, if you expand it to 8 teams, that's 4 extra games.
4 extra games, but the team's only playing 1 extra game. That makes it, or 2 extra games. Sorry.
Well, 2 extra games though is a lot of football.
Make it 8, 4. No, it's 1 extra game because it'll be 8, 4, 2, and 1. Well, so you only really. I see what you're saying. You're adding more games to watch, but you only adding 1 more game for the team to play. So, if they make the playoffs, it's probably a game they would have played anyway because they'll probably be in a bowl game anyway.
I would live with 8 teams, and I would be okay with it. More than that is a travesty, though.
Oh yeah. More than that.
12 teams? Wow. Are there 12 good college football teams this year?
No.
Exactly.
No, there's barely good 10.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to our games real quick. We're gonna kind of run through this real quick. The problem with all that is that what exactly are the guidelines to picking the teams? You're 100% right with that, Chris. Conference winners, reputation, quality wins. They never elaborate on which are confusion. I agree with that, but also expanding it more than just 4 teams eliminate a lot of those questions, because like you say, right? Chris, exactly what you're saying. There is a problem because they don't really clarify what's the qualifications. You know what I'm saying? It's really just whatever they say goes, and it's a lot opinionated. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you mean the college football is around like the rest of the country? Oh, I got you.
Oh man.
Does anybody play anything anymore?
Only 3 good teams. I agree with you, right?
Agreed. That's agreed. So okay, Chris Chris, that's a great point. There's only 3 good teams, but we want to have 8 in the playoffs. Why?
Any given Sunday, Saturday, Friday, whatever.
Come on, man. Dude, this is not a movie. This is reality, okay?
Yeah, only 2 teams based on strength of schedule wins, etc.
Agreed.
I agree. That's how it should be, but it's not going to be like that. It's going to be bias based, and they're going to want to. Again, this is why and I know we spend a lot of time on the playoffs. This is my biggest thing. They're going to try their best to get the LSU's, the Bamas, those SEC teams. They're going to try their best.
If you expand to 8 teams, you'll never keep them teams out.
Exactly, but you won't have that pressure of are we just pinning them in just to pin them in just because we want our money's sake? Because they want Alabama in. You know that. They bring in the money.
Dude, I don't mind that because, again, Alabama has a brand. Ohio State, Michigan, USC, they're the brands, man. Let's deal with reality. Reality is those teams draw revenue. Period. There's a reason why the Alabama Notre Dame a few years ago was the most watched college football championship game of all time. It's Notre Dame and Alabama. It would have been the same thing if it was Alabama and Michigan or Alabama and Ohio State. They're the teams that people either love or hate. That's what reality is.
Yeah.
Teams don't like the TCU is a good story. No one cares.
Yeah, and Ray, and I know they are hoping TCU loses. They are hoping, praying TCU loses. I can feel them doing that because you still got Tennessee that's waiting right side of it. You got Alabama. You got LSU, who's LSU right now has to be above Alabama. So I know they're like, well, we got these 3 teams that we have out right now. 2 of them are breadwinners. We got Tennessee, who's been, the highlight of the year, the Cinderella team. What? We had to get these 3 guys in somehow, but TCU's in our way because they're undefeated. It's no way we can put those guys over us. So, that's why I'm saying 8 teams because I know that's how they're talking. I know it. Just look. Hold on. Let me go back to it. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Alabama just got up 3 spots, and they didn't play that well at all, which we're gonna talk about in a second. But look at this. Alabama went up by 1. It's only 1, but Alabama went up by 1. Clemson went up by 1. TCU. They literally just took all the teams at the bottom and just stacked them up because Oregon lost. You get what I'm saying? So if the same thing with Tennessee, TCU would have did that, they would just literally just push everybody up. You get what I'm saying? So that's why they're just trying to. I know they're gonna try to do something shiesty and try to fit one of those guys in there somehow. They're trying their best to, but they also know they can't do it because we gonna bitch about it.
The problem is we've made everything political. Everything's political now.
Oh yeah,
everything. Why do we go political with everything?
God, that'd be weird.
The political side of this country is what makes it horrible.
Do y'all feel this way about Cincinnati? We said the same thing.
What happened with Cincinnati last year? They look like a Division III team compared to the teams they were playing against. Exactly.
Chris, I gotta find an episode for you. I'm gonna try to find an episode for you. We said the same exact thing. We were saying this last year because we were saying the same exact thing. Cincinnati, they won.
They look like
they played one. We got one good quality win, and it was Notre Dame in the beginning of the year. Last year. So, and like Ray saying, they looked exactly how we thought they was gonna look in the playoffs.
So why do I want to watch that? For the commercials? Woo!
Commercials.
Come on.
All right, let's move on. Let's really quick talk about these other games real quick, and then we're gonna get into our ratings. All right, let's get to it. First game, I want to talk about that Alabama game. Let's just talk about it real quick. Alabama, they played Ole Miss, and that looked good. They did come away. They did pull away a little bit in the last couple of quarters, but that game was not good. Ray, what was your thought on that game?
Bryce Young will play captain check down. He completed a decent amount of passes, got nothing downfield. Ole Miss played as well defensively as they could have played for that game and kept himself in the game. But again, it was really not a fun game to watch. And Alabama's, let's face it, man, Alabama's not a great team this year. They're not. They have a great quarterback, and that's about it.
Yeah, I agree. Bryce Young did the best he could. Only 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and I'm saying only like that's something to sneeze at. They're really good, but Ole Miss would just stay in the game. They had good defense. I believe they or something like that kept them in there. Held the ball for a long time. Really played to them, and then Alabama beat Alabama. They beat them, but to only win by 6 points, man, that's not good enough. And they was losing at halftime, 17-14. So yeah, Alabama just looks so weird. And again, they want them in this playoffs, but they can't, especially the way they're playing right now. So all right, let's move on to TCU versus Texas, right? We thought on that game, and now we get to
TCU did just enough to hang on to and win a close game. Max Duggan, again, his stats, completion percentage, it looks fine. 124 yards passing. Wow.
Yeah, I have a 23.
I can't wait to see them in the playoffs. It's gonna be fun.
Wow. Running game was solid at best. They only had one guy that was doing anything. That was Miller. He was literally the whole offense, honestly.
I mean, he literally was the whole offense. You're right about that.
He was. No, he was. So Texas was Texan losing on defense mostly. Actually, the defense played pretty well, actually. But for some reason, they Bryant Robinson, did he get injured?
You know what? I don't know that for sure, Jay.
12 carries for 29 yards.
He did not have a great game, that's for sure. He averaged 2.4 yards a carry. 2.4 yards a carry.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he had 12 carries. So it sounds like something was going wrong, and they couldn't get anything done on offense. Texas.
Yeah, there was nothing about him getting injured on here. So I guess he was full. He was. That was probably the worst game I ever seen him had. He didn't do much. I was wondering, like, was he injured? Like, he wasn't carrying the ball much. He only had 12 carries in the game, and then the percentage. I was just like, what is going on? But the TCU only had one good, really, really good play, and that was when Miller had that 75-yard touchdown. Right, yeah. And that was like it. That was it for TCU. That was like their whole offense. That was the whole game.
And Amari DiCardo had a decent game. They ran the ball well.
Yeah,
I guess they tried to keep the ball away from Texas's offense, which Texas's offense is nothing to write home about anyway. So, but they did enough to win the game again. And I'm not trying to.
Right. You know what that tells me? That tells me more about TCU's defense than their offense.
I agree.
That tells me more about their defense than their offense.
I agreed.
So
I'm not bashing. I'm not sitting here trying to bash TCU.
Yeah,
they've had a really good year in a solid conference, which is the problem with putting a team like that in the playoffs. There's no reason for it. So
definitely. All right, LSU versus Arkansas. Arkansas almost. LSU was bad. I mean, 6 yards from downs. That's it. What's your take on that one, Ray?
Honestly, even though I picked LSU to win the game, by the time the game started, I thought maybe Arkansas would beat them. But Arkansas is another team. I love their quarterback.
Sneaky good team. Sneaky good team. Despite their record, and this is another thing, like, we always look at record and stuff like that. Arkansas is a solid team, so don't sleep on them as a bad team. They're a solid team.
They are. I mean, their quarterback didn't play, so they're playing a backup quarterback. So things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't. If you like passing and flashy offense and all that, this was not the game for you, sir.
If you like offense, this was not the game for you. If you like quality football, this was not the game for you.
It was bad. It was like LSU had the Alabama hangover. That's all.
Well, I think that's always a fear when you have a big win like that.
Yeah,
that your team come out a little flat the next week, and they did.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they did enough to hang on and win the game. Like, honestly, I don't know. I think Ohio State, I think Georgia, I think even Michigan, they'll destroy LSU. Destroy.
That would be definitely a good matchup to watch, but I don't know, man. We'll see, because again, you still got TCU. I mean, you got Tennessee there. If TCU still win, they're gonna feel obligated to put them in. Obviously,
the problem with Tennessee is I could get on board with them if they had a solid defense.
Yeah,
but their defense is bad.
Yeah. All right, let's do one more. The Washington versus Oregon game. So this is the game that got everybody pushed up because Oregon was the only top 10 team that lost last week. So Oregon losing to Washington was huge for the Pac-12, right? What's your take on that game?
Oregon is a good solid team. They don't have a good defense. They're another team. They don't play defense, so
Yeah. I want to know. I mean, I think we talked about this before, but what's your take on Bo Nix? I mean, he's been playing a lot better. You already know how I feel about Penix. I like both of these quarterbacks. Not Bo Nix as much, but I really like Penix. What's your take on these quarterbacks?
I like Michael Penix. I think he's a good athlete and a good solid quarterback. Bo Nix is just good enough to make you think he's good and then find out that he's not. So
both transfer quarterbacks transferring from Indiana and Auburn, looking better on their new teams though. Sometimes it's the offense that sometimes it fits better with certain quarterbacks.
It is. I think Michael Penix showed us enough at Indiana where you thought, oh, this kid in a more versatile offense with a couple more playmakers could be a nice player, and he's looked the part this year. So,
no, 100%. No, I agree with that. I think good game, rivalry game. Yeah, Oregon just didn't have it. I mean, I like Oregon's offense, but there was no defense in this game.
No.
34-20, 34-37.
Yeah.
So
it was just not.
I mean, I'm looking at a play now where Penix just dropped a dime on one of the quarterbacks, and then safety just totally whiffed on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, if you again, this is the problem with this season. I know people would tell me, "Oh, well, every college football season is a good season." And part of me agrees with that, but it's been a really up and down year, man. It really has been. So,
yeah. All right. Speaking of up and down years, we gotta talk about these predictions, man.
Oh no!
Turn your heads. I am in the lead by one. I'm not happy. It's sloppy, and let's redeem ourselves, Ray. We got two more games. So let's get to it. We're gonna predict week 12. So we're gonna start off with the big game we were just talking about: LSU versus Baylor. I like I said last week, I'm starting to put down the lines that I had on Monday and kind of compare them. So for Monday, TCU was only favored by 3. They're away, and now they are only favored by 2.5. Wow. Went down a little bit. So Ray, who you got?
I'm taking Baylor. Baylor's going to end the debate right this week. To be honest with you, I think that I take Baylor. I mean, I don't really have a strong feeling for either one of these teams.
Yeah.
I just think Baylor is at home, can maybe get it done this week. That's all.
Yeah. I'm gonna say TCU wins. TCU just looks like the better team. Baylor has moments, but I just think it's hard, it's weird for me to say this, but I think TCU has a better defense. It feels weird for me to say that, but TCU has a better defense. That's not saying much, though. It's really not saying much.
Not saying a lot at all, actually, but yeah.
Canceled. So I'm gonna talk about that at the end of this. But next game we're gonna talk about is NC State versus Louisville. So on Monday, Louisville was favored by 4.5, and right now it is
4.
4.
Yep.
All right. So right here you got.
I'm gonna take Louisville.
All right. I think I'm going NC State, right?
All right.
Yeah. Still can't find the game though. But all right, I'll just rely on what I have. There you go. Yeah, you're right, Ray. It's still I still have 4, Ray, on mine.
Yeah, it's 4. It was 4.5 earlier in the week. Now it's 4. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong game. Sorry.
You're fine.
But yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm going NC State.
Okay.
And you're going Louisville.
Yep.
All right. Cool. All right. Next game we got Ole Miss versus Arkansas. On Monday, Ole Miss was favored by 3, and they're away. Right here you got.
Now it's 2.5. I'm going to take Arkansas. KJ Jefferson playing.
Is he? Or you asking me, or are you telling me?
I'm asking.
Ooh, let me find out. That's a good question. Because I actually was going to go the same way, Ray, and then you just say him. I totally forgot he was injured, so. Let me see. Ole Miss, there it is. Let's see. So, wait, is Dart out? Wait, I think Justin Dart is out. If Justin Dart is out, definitely taking what's called it. Arkansas.
I'm taking Arkansas anyway, dude. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I'm going the same way, Ray.
All right.
Yeah, I am okay with that. All right, next game: Syracuse versus Wake. I actually had Wake, and I thought this was a weird line. Wake favored by 10, and it's still that way. Wake Forest. Who you taking, Ray? Wake Forest is at home.
I'm taking Wake Forest. I mean, they're favored by 10. How can they're not taking to win the game?
I do not like that line.
I hate it, but
I do not like that line. Syracuse is a good team, dude, and they lost to some good teams. Lost to Notre Dame beat them, right?
Notre Dame did beat them like 2 weeks ago.
They lost to Notre Dame. They lost to Clemson in a close game. I don't like that line at all. They did just lose to somebody that's not as good. I think it was Illinois.
I think that what you've seen is lately Wake Forest is a good running team, and Syracuse struggled against the run the last 3 weeks. So maybe that's part of it.
That's true. I'm still gonna take Syracuse. I believe in that team, and they've been playing some tough teams lately. So I'm gonna give them a benefit of the doubt. Just say, hey, they've just been playing tougher teams. Even though I think their last loss was not a tough team. I think they lost to. Let me look at it without me guessing. I thought it was like Air Force or something like that. No. You guys just played Air Force, didn't you? They lost to
Navy.
Oh, they lost 4 in a row. All right. The last 4 games they lost: Clemson, Notre Dame, Pitt, and FSU. Come on. So, tough games. I think they have a bounce back game.
You got to remember, I just think that they won a lot of close games earlier in the year, and now they're losing them games. And again, it seems like they're getting gashed up front a little bit, and I think people see the oil leak a little bit, so they're like,
yeah.
I hate because I do think Syracuse is a solid team, but
Yeah.
and I like their coach.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. The line is 10 though, man. If it were 4, I'd be like, oh, maybe 10. That's too much for me to go.
Ugly though. I don't believe in that line. Just like I didn't believe in the There was one earlier that was like 24 or something like that. I was like, it's no way that line should be like that, and it was a close game.
Yeah,
the team still won, but
right.
I think it was like, I don't know. I was maybe like Alabama or LSU or some weird line. I was just like, no, it shouldn't be like this.
Right.
All right, let's get to our next one. USC versus UCLA. I have 2.5 to USC. Who you got, Ray?
I'm going to take USC. I'm not crazy about this game either, to be honest with you. And I'm not only going with the line. I think USC is a more explosive offense, and I think that they'll find a way to hold on.
Yeah, and that's why I'm taking USC. I actually like this line, actually. I do like the line. I do like, but I will take USC. I feel more comfortable picking them in this game, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna say this game for last. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State, right?
I'm taking Oklahoma in that one.
Knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm taking Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is home. They're favored by 7.5. I do like Oklahoma State better.
I like their offense better.
Yeah. Defense is the problem. Defense is the problem.
Defense is a problem, but I mean,
this might be a high scoring game, Ray.
Oh, I think it will be.
Yeah.
I think it will be.
I'm gonna take State though. I'm gonna take State. I like them. I've been riding with them all year. They had 3 losses, but I do like their team, and I like their running game, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go State with there. All right, cool. SMU versus Tulane, Ray. Who you got?
That's a hard game for me.
That is hard.
I guess I'll stick with the home team and take Tulane. Tough game.
Yeah. I wish our guy Dom was in here because he was telling us, "Oh, don't sleep on Tulane, blah blah blah." They just lost that game. Just want to kind of put that out there, Mr. Dom. Hope you see this. Because he was hyping him up a little bit. But I am actually gonna give him the game this week. I'm gonna give it to him as well. So I'm going to Tulane as well. So all right, second to last game, Miami versus Clemson. Clemson is favored by 19. And the only reason I put this game because this is one of those games that we were talking about with Alabama, where it's like, even though it's Alabama and the line should probably be the way it is, don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on this game because this team is struggling. And this is exactly how Clemson's lining up right now. Are you still picking Clemson, or are you like you gonna go bold?
Taking Clemson.
I'm picking Clemson too, and like I said, I just wanted to. I only really put that on there just to kind of talk about. Don't look at that line because I don't like that line. Clemson has been struggling too, and although Miami's bad, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's a little bit closer. I would probably would have did like 10 points, not 19.
Yeah,
I don't really like that 19. Do you agree with that, or?
I don't like the line either, but I mean, we're not picking the line; we're picking who's going to win the game. So
no, I agree. Yeah. I just wanted
to win the game, and Miami's defense has been bad most of the year. So,
got you.
That's
all right. Last game. Who's picking that first, Ray?
You are.
I am.
You are.
The game we're talking about. If you've been watching this, you already know, and I hate picking these games. But it's a close game. It's a good one. Oregon versus Utah. I'm actually going to go at Oregon. Weirdly enough, I'm going Oregon. I still think they're a better team right now. Bonix is playing really well. Utah's defense is not as good as they used to be. Still like the team. Still like them. I just think there's a little bit too much firepower on the offensive side for Oregon. So I'll see. But I do, and this game makes it hard for me. I do want to pick Utah. I do, but I do think Oregon's going to win this game.
I want to take Oregon too. I think they're, like you said, I think their offense is just a little bit too much for Utah. Utah's defense has struggled like the last month, so I would like to take Utah too, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't think I can. That's all.
Yeah, and I'm not just doing that for the jinx thing, but I do really. I'm being genuine. I think Oregon's going to win. So. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to talk about the game that got canceled and just got announced today. Hearts out to those 4 gentlemen. I think it was 4 gentlemen from Virginia that got shot down this week. Prayers out to them and their families and everybody that was involved and all the people that was injured within. It was a gross situation. That game is being canceled this week because of that. It was originally supposed to play Coastal Carolina this week, so that game we will not be announcing. But I did want to kind of put in that I wanted to just give a condolences from Inside the Hashes from RPO Podcast for all that was involved, and we hope that this never happens again because. Like me and Ray have been talking about the last couple of times. I'm not going to make a big rant about it or even extend because we did that last podcast. But the gun violence needs to stop, man. It just needs to stop. It's just gross. People losing their lives for no reason, and it's sickening. It really is. So I just want to say that, Ray. I don't know if you want to add on to that, but
I share in your sentiment about just sending out my condolences to anyone, all family members that are being affected and involved in this. I agree with you. I'm not going to rant again about what we need to do about gun violence because honestly, I don't really have an answer for it. Just that people need to remember, man, you're taking people away from their family. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Who the hell do you think you are? I mean, I don't get it, man. I just don't. I don't like. I work in property management company, and the one thing I tell people because I'm responsible for like heating systems and fire codes and smoke alarms and different things like that. I never want to be responsible for someone even getting hurt, let alone dying.
Yeah,
I don't know who would put a gun in their hand and think, I'm going to take out someone else's life because you're not only hurting that person, you're destroying people's lives. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. I don't get it, man. I'm not going to sit here and be like the Beatles. Oh, all we need is love. Like, no, man, we all know that. We all know that love should conquer war, should conquer hate. But we see a lot of hate, man. I see a lot of hate. I do. I wish I didn't, but I do. But again, I just want to say that I would never want to be responsible for injuring somebody, let alone taking their lives. That's all.
I agree, Ray. All right, let's get into our last segment, which is probably our most demanded one. Ray's Rants. So, there he goes. Ray's Rants. So, it's the platform for Ray to get what he needs to say out. Ray, I'm very interested.
This one's going to be near and dear to anybody who watched the Monday night game this week and anybody who's watched college and pro football for the last couple of years. The officiating is at an all-time low. It's brutal. It's horrible. It's unacceptable how bad it is. And you know what? Here's another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to give them the answer to the problem. They think they'll listen to some jerk off from South Jersey. I don't think they will. But here's the answer. The officials, the players are bigger, stronger, faster, and the officials are slower and older. The problem isn't not that they don't see. The problem is they can't keep up with the speed of the game. Okay, so let's do this. Why not take former players, train them when they're retired to be officials for college and pro football? I'm not saying blow out all the officials. I'm not, because there are some. Ed Hockley, there's one guy who keeps himself in shape, is a good official. He's one, and I'm sure there's more, but he's the one I that comes to my mind all the time. Take these guys. Maybe if Junior Seau had a career after football was in where he could stay involved in the game, maybe we'd still have him on this planet right now. Why not take guys that maybe like I've known Jerome for 10 years now. And I met Jerome basically for the first time playing semi-pro football with my son. Right. Why not take a guy like that who would love to be involved in football, college or pro, and give him a job as an official? They could stay with the speed of the game. Yeah. Football is too fast for a guy in his 50s to keep an eye on it. I'm sorry. I'm 60. Okay? So I know that the players are bigger, stronger, and faster. But again, the officials are older and slower. Why? Mm-hmm. Why? Because they're in a union? I want good football. And the officiating right now is taking away from good football. Period.
I agree. I'll do you one bigger, Ray. I'm about to go. We're about to go to Jay's rant. Transition to Jay's rant, because your rant actually transitions exactly to what I'm going to rant about. I'm not going to rant too much about the game per se. I will say this: the one part, at least, that call on Goddard, where you clearly had his face turn like this and he gets injured. Now, he didn't get injured because of the face mask, I don't think, at least. But he did get injured on the play, and you could have made it even worse. Stuff like that. I'm gonna do one further, Ray, where you're able to replay, especially if you're replaying anyway for a turnover. Why can't you see that was a face mask and be able to overturn that?
I agree with you, Drum. Here's my question to that, though. What is good having the officials if we're using the replay for everything?
No, and I'm not saying replay, but you already in the process of replaying because of turnover, right? And I mean, America's already looking at the play and it's getting replayed because of the turnover anyway. Why can't you look at a guy? We talking about safety, right? And we clearly now see that the guy is getting his head jammed the opposite way. Why can't we use a flag on that? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, we can't because if replay don't include penalties.
You know what?
If it's in a sense of safety, I think it should.
The problem is that the officials are in a union, and they're too powerful, and that's the problem. And again, I'm not saying blow all the officials out. I'm saying take the few that are really good at it still, and then have them add to, again, former players, former pro players, former college players, train them, give them a career after they're done playing football. Yeah. This way, maybe they won't hang on a little longer than they should. They'll have something to look forward to. It kind of keeps them in the game. And we all want to see good football. I literally sat there and watched a game in Baltimore this weekend where we waited for 15 minutes to figure out what the play was. And the fans are like, what are we doing here? The officials, man, and I'm not trying to kill these guys. I'm not. Yeah. When they all have other careers anyway, what are they officiating for? Because they can be out there flexing their not muscular bodies? I mean, come on, man. What are we doing?
Because Ed Hockley was a different animal.
Well, of course. Yeah, that's why I picked him. He's one of the guys that he's a good official who can keep up with the speed of the game. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that – I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm really not. Mm-hmm. I, again, get back to you. I want to see good, crisp, fast-moving football. And the officials are taken away from that. I'm sorry. They just are.
I agree with that. I will say this, too. So this is going to be tying into my rant. And I'm not going to harper on the game. The game's over, whatever. It happened. I want to talk to all my Eagles haters out there because my phone was buzzing all Monday. I come into work. People that don't even watch football knows the Eagles lost and tease me about this. Listen. I'm all fair. I'm all good for some bantering back and forth. But it makes me so angry when people don't know about football and it gets on my team. Listen, 8-1, bro. 8-1. It's okay. I I was not home crying. I was upset. Don't get me wrong. I was not home crying. I'm not whimpering. I'm not like, oh my god. The Eagles lost. That's one. We got like three more. All we had to do is win like 3 games and we in the playoffs. So see y'all guys in the playoffs. I'm not worried about it right now, man. It's one loss. It's a rivalry game. It was bound to happen. I knew it was going to happen. It's one of those games. It hurts more because it was a rivalry game. Shout out to Washington. Y'all got the win. Congratulations. And bro, if it was just Washington fans getting at me, I'll be like, whatever. You want to hear something funny, Ray? It wasn't a single Washington fan that came to me. It was, and I got Washington friends. Not one single Washington person came to me. I had Cowboys fans coming to me. I had Falcons fans coming to me. I had people who don't even watch football coming to me. Bro, one game. I know y'all don't like Philly, but dude, leave me alone. Leave me alone. It's one game. 1 out of 11 games. Or no, I'm sorry, 17 games, 16 games. I'll be okay. We're going to make the playoffs. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. I'm not I'm good. I just wanted to say that. So everybody that's coming at me, we're good. Hey, Chris, shout out to Chris. I know you probably was going through the same thing, man. Keep your head up, bro, because it's one game. One game. Yes, it was.
Yeah, don't worry. You're gonna lose more. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And dude, and I was just telling hey, not in the playoffs, be good. Nah, I'm joking. I don't know how that's gonna turn out, but hey, listen, I was just telling Ray, it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, this is the most level competition you're gonna get. You can't expect a team to go undefeated. And I was just telling Ray that Miami team is probably nobody's probably not going to reach that undefeated team, especially with the extended games now we have. I don't think anybody's going to get that, dude. Nobody.
Never going to happen.
You can have the most stacked team. It's still going to be other teams that's
stacked team. Name a stacked team in the NFC right now. Go ahead.
There isn't one.
Mediocrity. Okay,
yeah, bro.
Listen. Slightly above mediocrity is what we're playing for now.
Yeah. So
I'm not gonna talk about who the hottest team in the league may be right now.
Listen, I'm okay with just losing that game.
There's a hint for you guys, man.
He's not wrong. He is not wrong.
Usually I'm not.
But
except for my picks this year.
Jets fans. Oh, you Jets fans, wait till your day. You having a good year this year. Okay. You want to talk your stuff? And you know who if you're watching, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, you. Mr. He used to work for us. Jets fans are talking a little reckless too. It's okay. Listen, one game. It's only one. I'm okay. All right, I just wanted to say that.
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing. Like, I never vote. I never say that my team will lose a game because of an official.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go there. When I round about the officials, it's because they're slowing down the game.
Oh yeah.
And that's the only thing that bothers me. Between the officials being horrible and slowing down the game, and all the breaks that we have now, and the TV timeouts, and coaches getting their head up their rear ends. I mean, it's a bad product. It really is, man. I mean, I long for the days of when teams were like just good, like when you had 4 or 5, 6 really, really good teams instead of 1 or 2 if somebody said to me, who's the best team in the NFL right now, I would say Kansas City. I would. I mean, it's not because of their record. It's because they play fast on offense and on defense.
Yeah, have probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league right
now.
They
have probably the best player in the league, exactly. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying they're a great team. I'm saying they're probably the best team in the league right now. Yeah. The most fun team to watch on a week-to-week basis. Mm-hmm. And that's coming from a guy who's a Dolphins fan who Miami's been really fun to watch the last 2 or 3 weeks. But
They have been. They have been.
They've been really fun to watch.
It sucks that they're on the bye this week. It really does.
I hate the bye. I hate bye weeks. I hate bye weeks. I mean, especially when you're playing well, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to bye
breaks
week.
it up. It just breaks it up. Yeah,
and I hate it. I mean, I just do. I hate it.
I understand it. For the players, but I hate it too. Right? They need it just as much as we would need it. But,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a nice idea.
Yeah,
to have a bye week. Like right now, Miami has a couple injuries. I guess Byron Jones never going to play football ever again in his life. But, I mean, you don't want me to rant about how corners aren't real football players, do you?
All right. Let me get my 3 points out real quick.
Okay.
So, still the number 1 seed in right?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the number 1 seed in the NFL.
Technically, yes.
Yes. 2, got the 4th overall pick right now, currently.
That's the bigger issue thing right there.
Thank you, New Orleans. Appreciate that. And then 3, what was the Eagles' record when we won the Super Bowl?
That's a good question, Jerome. I don't remember that, to be honest with you. Was it 13-3, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
13-3. We still got wiggle room to lose games, bro. It's okay. We're all right. Like, it's just one game. Anyway, I just wanted to say that because my phone was getting blown up. I'm like, bro, like, why is these Cowboys fans coming at me? You beat y'all already. Calm down. And you're just lost.
You know why?
Jerome?
You know why? Because they can. This is one thing you do, dude. I have 2 brothers that are Cowboys fans. I do. I don't even know why I said that out loud, but I do. But the thing I don't like about Cowboys fans is this: when their team is bad, you don't know who they are, okay? And when they're good, they don't shut up.
Mm-hmm. Or if your team loses, they don't shut up.
Well, that
have nothing to do with them. No, yeah.
That's another thing. But, I'm
telling you, not one Commander fan came to me and said anything. Not one. Not one. Congratulations to the Commanders. I won that game.
That's what we're calling them now?
I guess, dude. That's a whole nother rant right there. Anyway, thank you guys for checking us out today. Make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel right under Ray. You got that QR code right in there, so make sure you hit that. That would definitely support us, so we do appreciate each person on here checking us out. Big shout out to Chris. Big shout out to Remy for being in the live chat room. And if you want to put in the comments, you can put in the comment section on our YouTube channel. We do check it. We do comment back on each comment, as long as it's clean. So we definitely do that. So guys, make sure you do that. We appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter, as we're very close to 5,000, man. We're very, very close to 5,000. So help us get to there, man. Like, go follow us on Twitter. You got some great stuff on there, so make sure you do that as well. And also, all our other socials. We got some interviews getting pumped out very soon. Some big guys. We're starting to prepare for the Senior Bowl. We're preparing for a lot of great stuff coming up. So make sure you go check us out on Inside the Hashes and InsideTheHashes.com on there as well. So I'm Jerome Jones, your humble host. That's Ray Roberts. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Ray Roberts, any last words?
No, just everybody enjoy their football this weekend. Again, my pro team is on a bye, so I just know guaranteed I won't lose. So that's never a bad thing. And like Notre Dame's playing Boston College this week. I don't know how to feel about that because Boston College is one of the teams that I love to hate, but they're not. They're having a down year this year, so I'm not going to sit here and try to kill them.
Real quick. Since your team's been on bye, and usually when your team's on your bye, you kind of pay attention to who's in your division. Jets or New England?
New England.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Bill Belichick has a thing of tying young quarterbacks in the knots, man.
I'm with it.
And they just got done manhandling the Jets like 3 weeks ago.
Definitely.
No, that's the one thing I would rather New England win, even though I don't want to wake up that sleeping lion, as they say, or the sleeping bear, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that I'm not afraid of either one of them teams, even though we lost to the Jets in an ugly game at the Meadowlands or whatever they call that place now a few weeks ago. MetLife, yeah. Well, anyway, I just think that, like, New England has a way of here's the thing. New England has a way of making young quarterbacks look bad. I will say that, except for Tua. They have a way of making young quarterbacks look bad. And to be honest with you, I don't understand. I would feel more comfortable in that pick if I knew what the heck New England was doing to quarterback. But it seems to change the way I change my underwear. Like every day, it's a different quarterback. I mean,
apparently they all in on Mac Jones, so we'll see.
They have to be. Like, I don't like New England. You know, I don't like New England. I'm going to say again, I don't like New England. I can't stand Bill Belichick. The only person in sports I hate more than Bill Belichick is Tom Brady. But the thing is that, like, he has completely screwed up the quarterback position this year. He really has. And I don't understand what he's doing. Mac Jones is a top 15 pick. Should he have been a top 15 pick? Absolutely not. But you made the pick. It's like the same way I feel about Tua. You know, I was always worried about Tua's injuries. I'm still worried about him a little bit. I'm not going to lie about it. But once you make that pick, you either need to swim or sink with that guy. It's that simple.
I agree. But that'll do it for us today, guys. We do appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. Peace.